So I'm going to record this video while driving on my way to work. So if you hear the rumble of my exhaust, which you will, I apologize for that. Oh yeah. But I like to try to record my stuff in different environments so it's not so boring. But I know this is probably not the best to listen to. This isn't that important of a video anyway. I just kind of wanted to talk about something. It's a bit strange, because I've experienced it on both ends of parasocial relationships, If you know what that is, it's basically just like, you inserting yourself as at the same level of friendship with an online or separate personality, like a musician, an actor, a politician, a YouTuber, something like that. You put them on the same level in your mind, sort of, as a real life friend, as someone you know them so well that it's almost like you guys are actual friends, in more than in the sense of online friends. You know what I mean? So, I've experienced it. I've had parasocial type relations with YouTubers that I watch. People from Rooster Teeth. I had the whole videos about Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth shutting down and how that really impacted me. And just same as a lot of people would have about like losing their favorite musician or something like that. How it hurts in a way that's kind of hard to comprehend because you don't actually know them personally, but you know them so well from your engagement with them that it's almost like you know them personally. So it's such a strange feeling, just in general overall. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've mentioned them a bunch of times. There's a podcast, two podcasters that I listen to for a time almost daily. Haven't listened to them recently because of these reasons I'm going to get into, and I'm going to listen to them more because of this. But that's Chris and Jeremy from the Monster of the Week podcast. I found them like 5 or so years ago when I started my job at the care facility because I needed some more podcasts to listen to since I could listen to them at work. And I was like, supernatural podcast. Monster of the Week, sure, what's this? And then started listening to them. And it's been all, from there, quote unquote, all downhill from there, but in the best way. So I listened to all 15 seasons of their supernatural coverage, caught up with them, and listened to them weekly as they got into the newer seasons of Supernatural, because I joined, a couple years behind with them doing it. And then since then, just been following all their podcasts that they've been making. So you have like Still His Kingdom Keeps, which got me into the BBC's Merlin. You have Non-Human Biologics, which got me to watch X-Files for the first time. And then you have like a lot of their Patreon podcast, the Seek for the Sword That Was Broken, which is their coverage of the Lord of the Rings movies. And then you have My Sword Is Hungry Still, I think is what it's called, which is their Game of Thrones coverage, which I've only ever seen 2.5 seasons of Game of Thrones, but, if they're covering it, I'll listen to it, kind of thing. And so for the past 5 years, I listened to them for 4 to 6 hours a day at work, just because I would just binge through new podcasts they'd put out. And they'd only cover one show at a time, but I would, outside of like their Patreon bonus stuff, like they'd be in the middle of doing Merlin, they would then also on the Patreon for bonus content be covering Lord of the Rings or whatever have you. So I'd be listening to their stuff as it came out new, and then I'd just be in the habit. I get into like that, I just want to listen to them because I'm kind of like in that mindset, I'm in that personable kind of whatever mood thing, so I'll just go listen to their old inventory of podcasts. I go and re-listen to the Monster of the Week podcast or re-listen to the Merlin podcast, and so I would listen to them daily for 4 to 6 hours a day while at work, and did that for years on top of listening to other podcasts, of course. But I listened to them so much that they were my number one podcast for a couple of years in a row. And even if they're not my number one, they're my top 3. One of their podcasts is at least top 3 that I'm listening to. And I keep up with them, whatever they post on YouTube, which isn't very much, or whatever they post on social media, which also isn't very much. But just it's the whole point is like I'd be engaged with them to such a degree that it's like I know these people. I know what they both do for work. I know their relationships with their fiance and wife respectively. I know about their pets. I know their history through what they talked about. I know what kind of games they're playing right now. I know what games, I know Jeremy is always on top of a new roguelike, you know. He's like, have you heard about this roguelike or this indie game or this new Marvel game or whatever, this new DC game? Him talking about his friends and yada yada yada. Or I know Chris is, you know, rock hard for the different Final Fantasy games and blah blah blah. So Resident Evils and such and such. So the whole point is, like, you know, from engaging with them for 5 years, I know these people well enough, as much as I can, being just a pocket friend, you know, somebody on the internet. And that brings us to recently, where they haven't been uploading the X-Files podcast, Non-Human Biologics, for, at this point, like 2 months, 2.5 months now, maybe 3, I don't know. And that's because Jeremy, within the past year, I don't know, I'm not good at dates, was diagnosed with cancer. And he's in, like, what, I think it's mid-40s right now, something right around there. And he got cancer. I think it was colon cancer. Don't quote me on that. Some of that stuff has, you know, just didn't stick in my brain. Certain information never really sticks. But I think it was colon cancer, at least somewhere in that region. And he's been kind of down and out dealing with that and fighting through that. And they got to a point where he was like, hey, we're responding well to treatment, we're doing good, I'm just really tired and find it hard to make the podcast, so I'm just on a bit of a hiatus, which they've never really taken a hiatus for anything. So we're me and the community, we're all just like, yeah, dude, you take whatever time you need, we'll be here, and we're not going to pull funding from the Patreon, which is only like $3 a month, but it's like, it's not like, because you missed a week or missed a month, we're not just going to suddenly disappear, which, you know, it's the kind of thing that does happen. But it's like, nah, dude, we're here. This is our community, you know? And then it's kind of been radio silence for a little while. And the other podcast host, Chris, posted in the Discord yesterday, basically saying that Jeremy has now been moved to hospice. He had a weird reaction to the further treatment. Like, he was doing good, he was on the upswing, and then just basically saying how he was tired, and then we heard nothing for a while, and then Chris posts saying, yeah, they had to move him to hospice because he had a weird reaction to the treatment, and he's not been doing well. So we don't have all the details of his actual real condition currently, what the projected recovery or not recovery is looking like, and we're all just kind of, all the community is just like in the Discord and like getting emotional talking about it, because like I don't know as much, I'm not much in the community, like I'm in the Discord, I'm on the Patreon, but you guys know me, I suffer from I don't belong syndrome, where like no matter where I am, no matter what community I'm a part of or who I'm engaging with, I always feel like I shouldn't be here. Like, these people don't want me, I don't belong here. These are my people, but I'm not their people, you know what I mean? So I have a really hard time engaging with the community, but I look and I observe, and I'm looking at the posts, and I'm reading through the chats, and I'm seeing all the people engaging and having a lot of fun, whatever. And I know that's my own anxieties and stuff, but like, to see the response to his post explaining that situation to everybody, and just the outpour of love, it's just like, it's so potent and powerful and depressing. Because being in hospice, like, we're all like, okay, we kind of know where this is going, and we're all kind of in that weird little, sorry about my car, I know, I'm sorry, we're all in that weird little miasma of like this, most of us being in that parasocial side of the relationship, some of them being personal acquaintances and people that have actually integrated even deeper into like maybe being a guest on the podcast or whatever, or being an artist for the podcast, or helping make music or whatever. But we're all kind of sitting there like, this is just so strange, you know, because we hurt about this. This news is painful, but it also, for me personally, feels like such a disconnect, because it's like, I don't know this person, and yet I've spent the past 5 years sitting off to the side of these guys' conversation, talking about things I love, and and introducing new things that I now love. And just kind of like, I don't know what to do, you know? It's like it's such a strange grief, because he's not gone, you know, as far as I know. He has nothing. It's not at that point but like you're kind of bracing yourself for the passing of somebody you don't actually know. It's just so bizarre, you know? And I can't imagine sitting there listening to the old podcasts of somebody who hopefully not, but potentially has now passed. I'm just listening to their conversation. It's just like, I don't fucking know, man. All I can say is, like, you know, every bit of positivity, every bit of goodness, every bit of spiritualism, whatever kind of power that's vested in my soul that can be transferred to them, I hope is transferred, and I hope he can, you know, fight through it, get to the other side, decide that, well, whichever side he wants. You know, if he's tired and doesn't want to stay, then he doesn't have to, but if he wants to stay, I hope he can get that, go home with his wife, go home and see his dogs, play some games he loves, maybe, if he wants to, get back into recording the podcast or whatever have you, but that's obviously not the important thing. So I don't know, I hope he can recover. I hope he can get through the other side of this and get back to doing the things he loves, because he doesn't deserve to be where he is. It's fucking tough. So yeah, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk about that briefly. So if there's any affiliated links of like any donations or anything like that that are to be posted, I will share them in the description of the comments below. So thank you guys for listening.